about moving someplace else.
Move where? The brutal buffalo winter might become common all over the United States. Climate experts believe the next ice age is on its way. According to recent evidence, it could come sooner than anyone had expected. At weather stations in the far north, temperatures have been dropping for 30 years. Seacoasts, long free of summer ice, are now year-round. According to some climatologists, within a lifetime, we might be living in the next ice age.
You'll hear lots of scary things.
We've never been hit by a storm quite like this. Global warming is the reason for this unprecedented event.
Environmentalism and Hollywood have gone hand in hand.
Mark Morano, a journalist who tries to fight the fear-mongering, calls this propaganda from people who want government to control life.
Mr. Vice President, if we don't act now, it's going to be too late.
What you call propaganda, they say we're just informing people.
They're not informing people. They're using science and environmental scares to achieve these political ends that they've been trying to do essentially since the 1960s.
I think we're on the verge of a major climate shift.
Those are the exact words we heard in the 1970s about the global cooling scare. They actually said climatologists are pessimistic that politicians won't act in time in order to prevent the coming climate catastrophe.
At the UN, a movie actor lectures the delegates.
Droughts are intensifying. Our oceans are acidifying.
Leonardo DiCaprio is probably the chief celebrity spokesman. He actually famously said one time, "I'll fly all over the world in order to fight global warming." But he didn't quite get the disconnect.
Yeah, come on. What you got?
The most successful movie ever is this one.
That's right.
Avatar's villain is a mining company.
This little gray rock sells for $20 million a kilo.
To get it, the miners will destroy the indigenous people's land.
Those savages are threatening our whole operation.
The film's director is James Cameron.
He went down with Sigourney Weaver to Brazil to protest hydroelectric dams, which would have brought running water and electricity to hundreds of thousands of people, and then flew back home to Hollywood, where he had mansions, he had private planes. He's living a high-carbon lifestyle, yet he is willing to deny that progress to the poor people.
Flying around the world, criticizing greenhouse gases. We asked DiCaprio and Cameron's representatives about their hypocrisy, but they didn't respond.
Break the rules.
Hollywood tells kids to fight environmental destruction, get in the way.
There's nothing to stop them from bulldozing from one coast to another.
Except for us.
You gotta start thinking like an outlaw.
You might call this
soft-core eco-terrorism porn for children. This was a movie that showed kids going in and ravaging construction sites, all to save endangered species.
We gotta stop this construction once and for all. We're the only ones who care. We're the only ones who know.
At least this is Hollywood. At least we can look at that and say, that's fiction, that's supposed to be fiction.
This isn't supposed to be.
The New York Times climate reporting reads like a Greenpeace newsletter.
The so-called paper of record says climate signals are growing louder and we're running out of time and the worst is yet to come.
A crippling, potentially historic blizzard.
On TV, storms are not just bad, they're historic.
Historic, crippling, and catastrophic.
Historic snow.
Historic snow day.
And climate change causes so many problems.
CNN actually asked, was this asteroid caused by global warming?
What's coming our way? Is this an effect of perhaps global warming?
There's a blurring between fiction and reality because they have a political agenda.
Sea level worldwide will go up 20 feet. This is what would happen in Florida.
Climate scientists laugh at those claims, but kids don't know that. And today in school,
they watch this over and over. We've had children who had to sit through Al Gore's film 4 times in 4 different classes.
Global warming, or none like it hot.
The kids also watch The Story of Stuff. It explains how radio is made.
The metal was probably mined in South Africa. The petroleum was probably drilled in Iraq.
Story of Stuff has been viewed.
All right, you get what it is. This they agenda that they gonna push and that they've been pushing. You saw in 1971, it was about the ice age, right? Now in the 90s, it's about global warming. So, okay, to kind of give you an understanding, which put it like this, Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, so on and so forth, the so-called Illuminati, they control all your media. they control these politicians. They're bought and paid for. So whatever agenda they want to push so they can get more control, that's what they're going to do. All right, so climate change is one of these agendas that they're going to use to grip more control over the masses of these people. And they have been doing this for a long time. All right, so this working for them. So climate change is all, look, it is some strange stuff going on with the weather, you know, here and there, right? We get that part. But they got HARP. They got different ways that they've been manipulating the weather to a certain point as well. We know the Most High has control everything ultimately, but they are manipulating the weather to a certain degree in some cases. Not all, but some cases. All right, so just a lot of confusion. But at the end of the day, like they're gonna use this agenda because it is. You just saw it, 1971. It was the Ice Age scare. Now they're going into global warming. What it's gonna be? All over the place, right? But it's going to show you that they got an agenda. These elites control all your media, and that's what you got. You got these monkey-minded people that really believe all these things that they hear on the news, man. So you got to start being able to discern these things. If you hear something on the news, you know, for something like this, you need to do your research and don't just go for the shit blindly, man. That's the more of this, you know, story, so to speak, right? All right, see you on the next one.